Yeah, so on your list, the things you're going to want in the high tunnel are really, well, I mean, for the summer season, it's just like those tomatoes and those peppers, really.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, you could do all kinds of stuff in there now, because I mean, if you wanted to, but if snow isn't melted yet, if I were you, I would recommend on your this year, don't try to get too complicated. Don't try to do things like you've seen me do, where I'm like overlapping production in a high tunnel to push it into winter and stuff like that. I would just try to keep it as simple, sort of standard gardening season as possible, where you're really growing May until the end of September. Sure, once the tomatoes come out, you could try to seed some stuff for winter, but it takes a lot of it takes kind of experience to really do that without me kind of giving you this complicated um, succession plan on how to do this stuff. All of these things, all these crops you have here are all relatively easy to grow. Like, is this shared? Oh, it is. So I can just type in here. Like, I would start these. Your cucumbers. Well, you could put the cucumbers in the greenhouse too if you wanted. You could just do cukes, tomatoes, and peppers in the greenhouse. The cukes, so tomatoes, I'd start now. Like I said, all the peppers I would start now. Cukes, you don't really need to start those until, what are we at? We're March 18th today. If you start, cukes don't take long. They're like 3 weeks in pots. And then, so I'm thinking even by end of April in an unheated greenhouse, yeah, they could be okay. So you could start those. Let's see here. Shit. You know what? You could actually start your cukes now too.
Okay.
But they're gonna go in plant in ground in 3 to 4 weeks. The tomatoes, they're gonna be in. You're gonna start them now in smaller cells. I mean, if you've got the space, you can start them in bigger pots now if you have the space. But they're going to be like 7 to 8 weeks in pots. Same with your peppers. And so that's all the tomatoes. And then potatoes, I mean, you're not really going to plant those in the ground until, I would just say, May 1st.
Okay.
Carrots, you could do the same thing. Beets, the best way to do beets is start them as transplants, but for a first year garden, I wouldn't recommend doing that. I would just wait till like May 15th to plant those in the ground.
Okay.
Chard, you could put in there May 1. Beans, definitely wait till May 15th. Corn, you could do the same thing there. Basically all this stuff. Cabbage, I'm never a fan of doing cabbage in the main season. I always do it like July 1st, or call it, say, June 15th. I always do cabbage as a fall crop. That way you pass aphid pressure. You do a lot of these brassicas, like Brussels sprouts are definitely the worst. You do not want to do them. Save yourself the hassle and the disgust of just the amount of aphids that they get. It's just not, I just do it in the summer, and then they get a bit of aphid pressure in like, maybe you'll start to see it in August, but then you'll get a frost before anything establishes, and then the frost kills all the bugs, and then you got a really nice crop going into the fall.
Okay.
Onions, you could start now for sure. Garlic, that doesn't go in until October, 15th and on.
Right.
October 15th to like November. In Ontario, it's a little bit later or a little bit earlier than we do it. I can plant garlic here as late as like late November, but your guys' winters get colder quicker.
Right.
Zucchinis, they don't need a lot of time in pots, but that's going to be an outdoor crop. Is this cool? Just kind of going through this list. Is this helpful?
Yeah, this is amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, you're typing it in and it's showing up on mine. I don't have to do
okay, good. Yeah, so I mean, those zucchinis, they can go out into the ground by middle of May. So I would start them yeah, kind of third week of April,
Okay.
and then transplant mid-May. That looks like everything there.